Look at Los Angeles on a map, and you might assume Hollywood is its heart. But down at the end of the 110 freeway sits the city's front door, San Pedro. It's a town built by working-class dock workers, commercial fishermen, and the machinery of a massive industrial port. Yet, despite handling hundreds of billions of dollars in global logistics every year, the local downtown has struggled to capture that wealth. For decades, residents have looked past empty storefronts on Pacific Avenue and watched the waterfront languish with aging attractions like the old ports of call. Two massive, unmovable deadlines are forcing a sudden transformation. In 2026, the FIFA World Cup arrives in Los Angeles, bringing millions of people and over $1 billion in projected economic impact. 2 years later, the city hosts the 2028 Summer Olympics. The Olympics are not staying confined to the inland stadiums. In 2028, San Pedro's outer harbor will directly host the global Olympic sailing events. The world is arriving at their docks, giving the city a hard deadline to prepare. That impending global spotlight has triggered a multi-billion-dollar rush to prepare the waterfront for the world stage. But injecting billions of dollars into a working-class neighborhood creates immense friction. The town is now facing a loud debate over who this new, highly polished San Pedro is actually being built for. The centerpiece of this transformation is West Harbor, a $500 million mega-development rising directly over the footprint of the demolished Port SoCal village. This map shows the 42-acre West Harbor layout. The developers are packing this space with amenities aimed at regional visitors and tourists. We're looking at Michelin-recognized dining, a massive 175-foot observation wheel, and major craft breweries. Taking up a massive portion of that footprint is a 6,200-seat open-air amphitheater, operated by Nederlander Concerts. Inland, the city is matching that energy. They've designated the historic Pacific Avenue corridor as a Jedi Zone, a jobs and economic development incentive area. This designation provides funding for facade improvements, cuts red tape, and creates direct financial incentives to attract new businesses to those long empty storefronts. Even the physical infrastructure towering over the town requires an upgrade. To accommodate the massive cargo ships of tomorrow's supply chain, the iconic Vincent Thomas Bridge needs to be raised or entirely replaced. Between the mega developments, the business incentives, and the infrastructure overhauls, the sheer volume of capital flooding into the town threatens to overwrite a century of local history. While the developers issue glossy press releases celebrating a world-class waterfront, a significant portion of the local community is pushing back. Residents fear what some call the douchification of San Pedro. They look at the beige glass and steel architectural renderings and see a sterile, overpriced tourist trap replacing their authentic fishing village. That skepticism has turned into organized resistance. Labor unions, specifically Unite Here Local 11, filed official appeals to halt or modify the amphitheater project, citing environmental and community impacts. In response, the developers are attempting to bridge the gap. They designed the new amphitheater to look like an industrial metal warehouse, and they secured a massive 49-year lease to keep the legendary high-volume San Pedro Fish Market as an anchor tenant. The friction here encapsulates a major dilemma in modern urban planning. The city needs to upgrade its economic engine to capture tourism dollars, but it must do so without bulldozing the very culture that makes the town unique. But San Pedro has a specific economic variable that distinguishes its experience with gentrification from other coastal towns. The town is anchored by the Port of Los Angeles and its deeply entrenched, unionized longshoremen. This means a massive portion of the local blue-collar population earns a high wage. Look at this chart comparing typical displacement against San Pedro's workforce. In a standard coastal neighborhood, rising property values and expensive new restaurants force the working class out. Here, the strong union contracts create an economic buffer. These dock workers and port employees have the financial leverage to afford a night out at Yamashiro or buy tickets to the new amphitheater. Because of that union strength, San Pedro sidesteps the traditional story of displacement. Instead, it is a working-class community with the capital to actively participate in its own evolution. What is emerging from this tension is a grand remix. The town is blending global ambition with deep local investments, pouring money into blue economy research hubs like Alta Sea and supporting long-standing community nonprofits. The physical skyline will undoubtedly change. Observation wheels will rise alongside zero-emission megaships, and the aging docks will be covered in glass and steel. Yet the foundational union workforce operating the cranes and moving the cargo remains firmly in place. This makes the San Pedro Opportunity a live, high-stakes experiment in urban planning. It's an attempt to prove to the world that a city can engineer a multi-billion-dollar economic boom and embrace its global future, all while fiercely protecting its calloused dock worker soul.